special presentation now. Special, yes. Here she is, the wonder of wonders, the lady who can control electricity, Amy High Note.
Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah and Tim from the future, thank you so much for going the extra mile for us on this conference.
We are committed.
What I owe you right now, I'm scared to even ask. I won't be asking for a free stay at SEMO Lodging Company. First of all, obviously, I don't know, some of you were in Destin earlier in 2020, which was one of the conferences we had right before we were done, and we lost power there for 3 hours too. So for those of you who are in Destin and also here, I am so sorry. I am also super sorry about lunch. That will not happen again. We have a meeting with the hotel right after this, so if you're a praying person, you might want to pray for the hotel staff. So, what I would like to do is we've got a few awards throughout this conference that we are presenting. 2 of them have to do with the battleground. So at the end of tomorrow's battleground, you're going to vote, either using the app or paper ballots on the tables for the People's Choice Battleground Award. And then our judges, Carrington, Travis, and CJ, are going to select one as well as an Innovation Award. But this first award is really special to me, and we created a Pioneer Award. The reason Expedia has sent awards for these 2, and they're sponsoring this, and they actually came to us because there's a revenue management conference called HSMAI in the hotel industry, and they do awards there too, and they just thought it would be a good thing to do here as well. So I got into data in this industry after working at Kaiser Realty and joining the Instant Software team back in 2009. And there was a man there who put trend reports together, and his name was George Volsky. And George would send me all of this data in massive Excel spreadsheets, and we would just talk about it for hours. And this was really the advent of what is now key data. So we would look at what every company, each company was doing and be able to create those reports where they could look at their own data. Some of you who use software like Property Plus, First Resort, Intech, I'm missing one, V12. How many of you have used those systems in the past? So a few of you probably remember these. We put together these trend reports and sent them out, and then you could look at how your company was going against the data. But this man, George Volsky, also pioneered revenue management sessions. He also was the guy talking about fees at the conferences. He learned how to do comp sets by hand. And from there, I fell in love with data in the vacation rental industry. And I think many of you know that I started the company that later became Key Data. It's so great to see you guys here and doing so well. And sold that in 2018. No interest in it whatsoever, so not a plug, but I'm just really proud of that team. So George Volsky, if you are here, it would be my complete honor to award you the first ever 2021 Vacation Rental Data and Revenue Management Pioneer Award.
Wow.
Would you like to say a couple of words?
I would love to say a couple of but where's the mic? Right here.
Right there.
So, Amy, you told me, you gave me a little warning on this, and so I thought I'd better set the record straight on how this all happened, and I promised myself I would keep it down to 45 minutes. But at my age, I can't stay away from the bathroom that long. So, I've been retired about 3 years, and I have walked in to see a striking change in the interest in revenue management. And we'll get back to Amy's role in that in a minute. But I can't evaluate any of these competing products or services. I can't because I no longer monitor the industry trends, and I can no longer match particular results against what I could find in a PMS system. So I have no idea what's good and what is not good. But I was able to make a few striking observations that I will share, and these are just predictions. mine, probably wrong. But this amazing upsurge in data and revenue management is occurring for a very good reason. For suppliers of this new technology,
I'll give it back to you.
all right, it's got to at least stay whole until I can get home and brag. So for suppliers, data and revenue management remains the most promising path to the gold standard of revenue and business models. The gold standard of revenue and business models is a percentage of sale revenue model that commands the highest possible percent of a booking transaction. And it requires a business model that captures the highest possible share of industry bookings. Translated simply, I'll give you a service if you give me 3 to 5% of your total sales revenue. That's the gold standard. Now, why is that important, and what is that going to create? That's important because if you look at a rental manager, and I'm just throwing this out, if you take 25% of this as your commission, and your revenue and your profit margin is 10%, then what you really come away with is 2.5% of the total sale, right? And then you look over your shoulder and you see all these vendors who are coming in to help you either price or manage or sell, and they're taking 2.5%, 3%, 4%. Well, how many vendors can do that? Not many. So there's not a lot of room for the winners on this one. But what will happen is that the competition for this gold standard revenue and business model will be run on different courses because we're so diverse. There's big companies, there's small companies. And at least half of the transactions that occur in our industry are from small companies, people managing 10 to 50 homes, and they don't really have the money to pay for sophisticated systems. So it's going to be run for big companies separately and for the small players individually. And it's going to pit, ultimately, and this is my prediction, it's going to pit the property management software providers against the third-party data revenue vendors. So the people who go out and figure out how to do all of this stuff, and they're all here, are going to find that, oh my gosh, we have the only thing that the property management services want. We have a revenue model that gives us a percent. Well, what are the PMSs going to do? What they've always done. They're going to have to absorb those tools into their systems if they're going to stay relevant. And they have to stay relevant. You people who are managers don't want to pay a dime for your software, and it's the most important thing that holds your business together. But we've seen it come up, and we had to force you, none of you were alive then, but we used to do things on cards. And when the first softwares came in, they said, we don't trust that. And they said, well, we'll give it to you almost free. And ever since then, we've been fighting that. They can never make a profit margin on it. But when you see new technology come in and you think, well, maybe it worked with hotels, you say, oh, I'll pay. But in the end, they have to do that. And so what you're going to see is this pit property management software against third parties, vendors, and you're going to see both of them pitted against listing sites because the listing sites are the salvation of the very small guy who cannot afford $5,000 to $10,000 or $20,000, $30,000 for a product. And it's also going to, for the sophisticated programs, it's going to require an enormous investment in education. I mean financial investment, because people simply don't know how to price. And it's either much more simpler than we make out on one level, or it's far, far more complicated than anybody can even deal with unless you're in the game and that's all you do. So finally, it's going to dramatically change the nature, the faces who are here at your DARM showcases. It's going to, you are going to determine, in part, that there's many alternative futures here possible. We don't know which one it is, but there. Well, they all have to, but it will take place here at DARM, and they will. Once Amy and I work together to analyze data and trends, and she no longer does that. But you do something that's far more important. With this DARM conference, you are doing three things. You're enabling new technology to showcase itself. You're enabling property managers to come and educate and compare themselves. And you're enabling a dialogue between both groups that's going to help tailor the tools to fit the individual needs of the different people. So I have to say, great contribution, Amy. You're far more than any of us ever could have dreamed to do, and thank you. Thank you. Now I've got to get this back safely.
Here, George. I'll get this to you. So you guys, what we're going to do is take a short break and move to the next rooms. But again, I just want to say, like I said in Destin, if something goes wrong, you want property managers in the room. Like, you are so used to this kind of stuff going wrong. For you guys to lose an elevator or lose power or anything like that, it's like, whatever, it's just another day. And so there's no other industry that I would rather be in than this one, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate and love you all. Thank you, and we will talk to you in a little bit.